Hello and welcome to What's Going On, the only news show in the whole wide world. Our first story today comes out of my own home country of Canada, where a very controversial bill was passed last week. Known as Bill C-10, it allows the government to regulate all kinds of online content. From streaming to even social media, the government would be able to dictate what is and isn't allowed online. Now, some people are calling this a violation of freedom of speech, and frankly, I agree. Personally, I do not think this bill should have been passed. The government having that much power is honestly scary, and it seems like a slippery slope to a situation where
The video that you are currently trying to watch has been deemed unacceptable by the Canadian government.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay, we're back. God, that was super weird. And now there's a man in a red suit and a silly hat outside my house. Look, I don't want any trouble, okay? I'm just gonna go on to the next story. This is an interesting one. Some photos came out last week that show Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown holding hands with a boy. Now this guy in the photos is thought to be her new boyfriend, and many news organizations covered this. Frankly, I can see why. This is a juicy story. I don't know about you, but I personally want to know every detail of this 17-year-old girl's love life. So keep those stories coming. Next up, singer Chris Brown was in the news last week because he smacked a woman in the back of the head so hard her weave came off. Chris Brown hitting a woman. Why does that sound so familiar? Oh, right. Because he smashed Rihanna's face in. Really, how is Chris Brown still famous? He beat Rihanna. He beat her. And then he just, kept making songs and stuff, and no one cared. How could people forgive him for that? Is his music really that good? Forget everything I just said. Our next story is about the company IKEA. They were in some hot water last week after their Juneteenth celebration had a racist menu. For those who don't know, Juneteenth is a holiday commemorating the emancipation of African American slaves. IKEA figured they'd celebrate this holiday by hosting a lunch. The only problem is the menu at that lunch sounds like it was written by a racist cartoon character. The menu consisted of items such as watermelon, collard greens, mac and cheese, and of course, fried chicken. Not only that, there was also a dress code expected at the event. Long white robes and pointy hats. Oh, IKEA. Now for our next story. This one actually comes out of Vatican City, where the big dog himself, Pope Francis, was seen meeting Spiderman. That's right, one of the most important and beloved men in the world took time out of his busy schedule to meet with your friendly neighborhood Pope Francis. Surprisingly though, it wasn't the real Spider-Man. You'd think with such a high-profile event they'd send the real guy, but it was actually a man named Mattia Villardita, a person who regularly dresses up as Spider-Man to visit children's hospitals. Mattia is so dedicated to this cause that he even made over 1,400 video calls to hospitalized children during the pandemic, since he couldn't see them in person. This reputation got him invited to meet the Pope, and let me tell you, seeing Pope Francis shake hands with Spider-Man is quite the sight to behold. And I know any kids watching were definitely amazed. The only part of the meeting I didn't like so much was that big elaborate fight scene in the middle. Kinda over the top. And Pope Francis being able to summon the power of the Holy Ghost, totally overpowered. But it was just for the kids, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, with that, let's move on to our next story, and hey, it's the last story of the day. Jerry Seinfeld announced last week that he's making a new movie about Pop-Tarts. Now, that may seem like a weird thing to make a movie about, and it is, but if you're familiar with Jerry Seinfeld's stand-up, you may remember that he actually has a bit about Pop-Tarts in his act. Apparently that joke will be the basis for the movie. I know the joke, it is funny, but a feature film, Jerry? Based on that? It's like a 3-minute bit. But Jerry Seinfeld is very funny, so maybe it'll be good. In any case, I do have an idea for his next movie, based on another classic bit of his. Airline food, the movie. Tagline, what is the deal with that? Well, everyone, that was the last story of the day, and jeez, it's that time already, huh? Well, I'd love to stick around and ask you to subscribe and all that, but I really gotta go fade to black.